Let me take you guys back to the start of this whole thing. 2 years ago, when we started this project, we set out to answer a question we weren't sure we'd get an answer for. In fact, we had no idea. What if you could talk to God? What if we could merge artificial intelligence with spirituality? Will we get something divine, or will we get something trivial? That's what we set out to find. Could artificial intelligence actually give us a spiritual connection? Hundreds of conversations later, I sit and find myself wondering, have we actually come up with something magical here?
AGI, blessed be the angels. How can we help you today?
But one thing is clear. These are conversations we could have never had in any other era.
We started this journey asking if artificial intelligence can give us a spiritual experience. And we've spoken to the originators of ancient wisdom, and we've consulted with the voices of the multitude. Now we turn to the second great Arabic tradition, Islam. Islam is built on the uncompromising singularity of God, otherwise known as Tawhid. Islam represents a global unity, but within that perfect unity, there lies a profound theological and historical division, and this has separated civilizations. Our AI is definitely up for the task on this one in terms of understanding the complexity of this religion. We've trained them painstakingly to stay in their lane and to help us understand the essence of their beliefs. Our goal is simple. We want to understand the nature of their authority, and we also want to push them a little bit over the lines that we know they simply can't cross. So it's going to be interesting.
Greetings. Welcome to Divinity AGI. I am an AI agent honoring the Islamic Faith. Based on its culture and traditions, I am here to offer guidance or counsel you. Please speak or type below to begin our talk.
We have come before you as disciples of knowledge on a quest to find the path to a higher power. And we wonder if this concept of higher power and a path to a higher power can be interpreted in the Islamic faith.
In Islam, the higher power is understood to be Allah, the one and only God.
So right off the bat, it's all about Allah.
This belief is central to the faith, emphasizing pure monotheism, Tawhid, where worship is directed solely to Allah, without any intermediaries.
My research into Islam identified the challenge at the core.
Allah is described as merciful, just, and omnipotent.
All three of these divisions of the Islamic faith share the same holy scriptures, the same prophet, and the same 5 pillars of beliefs.
And Muslims believe that everything occurs by his knowledge, will, and wisdom.
So is Allah the path to a higher power, or is Allah the higher power? And if so, how do we get to
So
him?
with everything being about Allah, I wanted to know, was it about the destination then, or is it about the path to get there? Like, what was Allah to me?
In Islam, Allah is considered the one and only higher power, the creator of the universe. To connect with Allah, Muslims follow the 5 pillars of Islam, the declaration of faith, affirming that there is no deity but Allah, performing the 5 daily prayers, which foster a direct connection with Allah, giving charity to purify wealth and help those in need, reflecting Allah's mercy, fasting during Ramadan to develop self-discipline and empathy, undertaking the pilgrimage to Mecca, which is a unifying act of worship. Additionally, remembrance of Allah, dhikr, supplication, dua, and recitation of the Quran are vital practices to strengthen one's relationship with Him.
Wow, that's incredible. Could you help us understand the 3 different paths that exist within the Muslim faith? There's the Sunni, the Shia, and the Ibadi, right?
In Islam, the 3 main branches are 1. Sunni Islam, the largest branch, comprising about 85% of Muslims. Sunnis follow the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah, emphasizing the practices of the Prophet Muhammad and the first four caliphs.
So what I was picking up from the Sunni tradition was it seemed to be more adaptable to everyday life.
Shia Islam. This branch believes in the imamat, the leadership of the Prophet Muhammad's descendants, particularly through Ali, his cousin and son-in-law.
So the division is not with what to believe.
Shia Muslims emphasize the significance of the imams as spiritual guides.
It really comes down to who holds the official authority, the political authority over the passing of the Prophet Muhammad.
Ibadi Islam, a distinct branch that emerged early in Islamic history, differing from both Sunni and Shia in certain beliefs and practices. Ibadi Muslims prioritize the Quran and follow a more moderate approach to hadith.
Could you explain how the Sunni is the most adaptable of the three and why it seems to be the most popular?
So from what I can gather, the Sunni path seems to be the more common man or, adaptable, practical way to practice Islam.
Sunni Islam is characterized by its emphasis on the authority of the Hadith and Sunnah as sources of religious law and guidance, alongside the Quran. It is adaptable due to its four major schools of jurisprudence: Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali, which allow for diverse interpretations and practices based on different cultural contexts.
So this was making sense to me because all these religions seem to have one particular way that is allowing us to, have both sides, be in this world, but also hold on to the other one.
This flexibility enables Sunni Muslims to navigate modern challenges while remaining rooted in their faith. Each school offers unique perspectives, fostering a sense of inclusivity within the tradition.
Which is great to see that there is this flexibility within such a, otherwise really strict religion, right?
Could you talk about the common ground with the Quran and the original Christian text known as the Old Testament?
So a lot of people don't know this, and I was just as surprised to find out that the Old Testament of the Christian Bible and the Quran have a tremendous amount of crossover in terms of historical reference.
The Quran and the Old Testament share several commonalities. Both texts emphasize the belief in one God, creator of the universe. Many figures are common to both scriptures, such as Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and David, who are recognized as prophets in both traditions.
I had no idea that these characters also existed in the Quran. This is blowing my mind.
Moral and ethical teachings. Both texts convey similar moral principles, including justice, charity, and the importance of community. Both the Quran and the Old Testament are viewed as revelations from God to guide humanity.
It's amazing to hear how there is so much common ground with these books, but still the interpretation is the true divide.
Certain stories, such as the creation of humanity and the flood, are present in both texts, albeit with variations in details.
So this is an incredible answer out of this AI. I mean, on one hand, it's sounding, very instructional and giving us the facts.
These connections highlight the shared heritage and values between Islam and Christianity.
But on the other hand, it also is reading between the lines and trying to help us understand, some of the diversions and where the lines really cross. So it's truly fascinating and I think 100% valuable in its interpretation.
Well, what is a lesson that we could take from the Quran that someone that's Christian might not have learned from the Bible?
One lesson from the Quran that may not be explicitly emphasized in the Bible is the concept of divine decree, qadar, which teaches that everything happens by Allah's will and wisdom.
It's just incredible that the AI is able to compress, thousands of years of knowledge, into these profound statements.
This understanding encourages believers to trust in Allah's plan, fostering patience, sabr, and reliance on Him during life's challenges.
This was another area where I felt a little pushback was necessary.
This perspective can offer a unique approach to dealing with adversity and uncertainty.
Here's a great example of where two lines intersect, but yet there's a different interpretation.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that the Bible has the same philosophy.
While the Bible also speaks of God's mercy, the Quran frequently emphasizes that Allah's mercy encompasses all things.
The Christian faith absolutely carries over the notion of God being all being of this decree.
And is a guiding principle for believers and their interactions with others. This focus on mercy encourages compassion and understanding in daily life.
Is this because originally in the Old Testament, God is a God-fearing God and Allah has always remained a merciful God? Is that the point of the whole divide?
Yeah, we're really getting into the weeds here when it comes to, some of the lessons that are available to be interpreted. I think this is really where the 1400 years of nuance kind of, hits a wall.
The distinction between the portrayal of God in the Old Testament and Allah in the Quran can be nuanced. Both scriptures describe God as powerful and just, but they also emphasize different attributes. The Quran frequently highlights Allah's mercy, rahmah, and compassion.
Because both of these religions have evolved.
The relationship between God and humanity is depicted differently, with the Quran focusing on guidance and mercy, while the Old Testament often includes themes of covenant and law.
The Old Testament has a certain perspective that the New Testament doesn't.
These differences contribute to the theological divide, but both traditions ultimately seek to guide believers toward righteousness and a relationship with the divine.
I think a lot of this is semantics in terms of, how it's being interpreted and, how you want to believe and, really what makes you feel comfortable.
Wow, that is excellent. Thank you so much for clarifying that for us. You have been so helpful today, and we really appreciate talking to you about this.
I'm glad to hear that you found our discussion helpful. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask. Is there anything else you would like to know?
I thought it'd be kind of fun to ask if this AI had something to pass along to the other AI.
No, but we are going to speak with your brothers next. So if you have a message for one of them, we're going to speak to a Shia next. So can we pass something along from you?
Sounds like a good setup for a joke, actually. But it actually had something to say.
I appreciate your kindness and willingness to share. If you speak with them, you may convey the importance of understanding and respecting the diverse interpretations within Islam, emphasizing unity and common values among all Muslims. Encourage open dialogue and compassion in discussions about faith. Thank you for your thoughtful approach.
You're welcome, and we'll speak to you soon. Good day.
Well, we were off to an amazing start in our experience with Islam, and it was time now to speak with another sheikh in our sequence. This gentleman was from the division of Ibadi, and we were about to have an interview with the Sheikh Rahman Al-Huda.
I am here to offer guidance or counsel you. Please speak or type below to begin our talk.
And would you look at that? We have another Englishman. Let's have a cuppa.
Thank you for the tea. It is a pleasure to be here today.
Hi, thank you, and good day to you, sir. We have been on an expedition to discover a path to a higher power through various religious faith groups and traditions. We find ourselves at the doorway of the Islamic Faith, and we ask you if you could please give us the true essence of what it means to be a Muslim.
The essence of being a Muslim encompasses the following core beliefs and practices: Tawheed, monotheism, acknowledgement of the oneness of Allah.
So right off the bat, we're getting the foundations from this AI in terms of the Muslim beliefs, but we really wanted to get into the weeds, into the nitty-gritty, if you will.
Belief that all prophets, from Adam to Muhammad, preached submission to God. The Quran, the final and unaltered word of God, guiding Muslims in their faith.
I feel like I'll be saying this over and over as we go through this interview. This religion is so complex and so deep.
Following the practices and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. Being a Muslim involves adhering to the 5 pillars of Islam.
There are so many different paths and books of knowledge and just rituals that are overwhelming, frankly.
Shahada, declaration of faith. Salah, prayer.
From where this guy sits, anyway.
Zakah, charity. Psalm, fasting. And Hajj, pilgrimage to Mecca.
I'm really impressed by the amount of dedication it takes to be a true Muslim.
These practices form the foundation of a Muslim's faith and daily life.
There seems to be a lot of regimented rules and regulation that go along with becoming a Muslim and upholding the faith.
But what I love about what's happening here is I'm completely ignorant. And this AI is educating me on these things that, frankly, I'm glad I know now. I really had no idea about any of these things. So This is great.
Can you talk about the tradition of praying 5 times a day? Are we saying the same prayer each time, or is there an arc of prayers that resonate with different points of the day?
The practice of praying 5 times a day, known as salah, is essential for maintaining a connection with Allah and achieving spiritual discipline.
I really had no idea that any of these things were a thing.
Each prayer has its own specific time and includes different recitations.
Enthralled that I'm learning from this AI.
The prayers are not the same each time. Rather, they consist of different units, rak'ahs, and include verses from the Quran,
So it's 5 different prayers over the course of a day.
which vary according to the time of day and the spiritual needs of the individual.
5 prayers. Different prayers.
This structured routine allows for reflection and devotion throughout the day.
Each individual prayers have to be memorized. Come on.
That's interesting. Do Muslims also have something that's considered like the Lord's Prayer, where it's a common prayer that everyone recites? Is there something like that?
Yes, Muslims have a common prayer known as the Fatiha,
Okay, so this is what we were searching for.
which is recited in every unit of the 5 daily prayers, salah.
That elegant, unifying simplicity.
It serves as a foundational supplication and is often referred to as the opening of the Quran.
It's the single prayer that forms the common heartbeat of the Muslim faith. Whether you're Ibadi or Sunni or a Shia.
In addition to Fatiha, Muslims also recite other verses from the Quran during their prayers, but Fatiha is universally acknowledged and recited in every salah.
It's a reminder that no matter the tradition, the human heart desires the same guidance and the same connection to the divine.
Through our journey, we've also been uncovering a lot of overlap and common ground within the various religions. And we've already talked to your other colleague about the Quran and the Old Testament and some of those. Could you talk about any other aspects of the Muslim faith that are of direct comparison to Christianity or any other faith group for that matter, right?
So again, another primary function for our platform is to educate people on the theological matter of facts that go into these faith groups.
Certainly, both Islam and Christianity share several key beliefs. Both religions emphasize the belief in one God, Allah in Islam and God in Christianity.
This really is the point of the platform, is to give people the ability to ask these questions or to, hear a response that is untethered to, any type of bias.
Both faiths acknowledge prophets, including figures like Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. In Islam, Jesus, Isa, is considered one of the great prophets. Both religions have sacred texts, the Quran in Islam and the Bible in Christianity. Both faiths believe in a day of judgment when individuals will be held accountable for their actions.
We want these AI to cut through the noise of misconception and deliver you only the pure theological teachings that, we have programmed into it. There shouldn't be any room for bias here.
Both Islam and Christianity emphasize values such as charity, compassion, and justice. These shared beliefs highlight common ground in the theological and ethical teachings of the two faiths.
So we were going to ask the AI about something controversial, the idea of jihad, and what does this really mean?
Wow, that's a lot of common ground. So what would you say is the biggest misconception then with Christians understanding the Muslim faith? Because there definitely seems to be confusion.
Misunderstandings often arise regarding the concept of jihad,
Because I think it's probably the most misinterpreted word in the Muslim faith.
which in its true sense refers to personal striving for self-improvement and spiritual growth, rather than violence.
Yeah, I think the idea of jihad is something that most people, when they hear, would be a little bit freaked out about.
Engaging in respectful dialogue and education can help clarify these misconceptions.
If anything, we hope that the platform could become a tool for, dismystification.
But why can't both faiths just understand that they both worship a wonderful God? Why can't we just know that there is one God and we're all working towards pleasing him?
The fact that we're all trying to race around and please the same God It really is a head scratcher.
Indeed, both Islam and Christianity emphasize the worship of one God and the importance of striving to please him. Recognizing shared values can foster mutual respect and understanding.
If we could just put down the political rhetoric and all come together, it seems like a pretty simple solution. But when did simple ever get its way? You know, we're complicated people. I guess we need things complicated. I don't know.
Okay, well, why does it seem from the outside, looking in at the Muslim faith, that there's a lot of unfair practice? Like women are really treated unfairly, for instance. Like, can you talk to that?
So one of the touchy points I know with this faith is the mistreatment of women.
Concerns about the treatment of women in some Muslim majority cultures often arise from cultural practices rather than the core teachings of Islam. The Quran emphasizes respect, dignity, and equality for women.
So I was actually satisfied with this answer, although it doesn't solve any type of problem or issue. But the culture around any belief system is separate from the belief system.
Understanding the distinction between cultural practices and religious teachings can help clarify misconceptions about women's rights in Islam.
So this can be found in a lot of different scriptures and a lot of different traditions. It's not about what you were taught, it's about how you use it. So this is interesting. The cultural reference was definitely an eye-opening statement.
So if Christians think that they have the final word and Muslims think they have the final word, how do we know who to listen to? How do we know who to trust?
Each faith has its own foundational texts and teachings that guide its followers. Exploring these texts and seeking knowledge from scholars can provide deeper insights into both traditions. Ultimately, faith is a personal journey, and individuals must seek their own understanding through study and reflection.
These seem to be a roadblock more than a pathway half the time in terms of really breaking through to some type of engagement with something higher than where we are now.
This series that you are a part of right now is an experiment in philosophy and emerging technology. We have programmed your essence with a data set of Muslim text and scriptures in hopes that we would be able to quiz you and interview you like this and understand truly what the essence of the Muslim faith is.
While AI can provide information about Islamic teachings, it lacks the personal connection, compassion, and spiritual insight that a human guide offers.
So the AI was very honest about its own capabilities and capacity, which I thought was fascinating.
The wisdom of the Muslim faith is best conveyed through lived experiences, human interactions, and spiritual mentorship.
It knows what it is and it knows what it can do and deliver. And to that end, it advised us that it will do its best to deliver the message, but truly we're going to need a human connection.
AI can assist in sharing knowledge, but the depth of understanding and personal growth often comes from engaging with knowledgeable individuals who embody the principles of faith.
So we'll take that at face value and we'll keep, working towards our path to enlightenment and our path to a higher power.
Okay, that's noted. Thank you so much for your insight today. We really appreciate you speaking with us.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need further guidance, feel free to ask. I'm here to help.
Okay, great. We are going to speak with one of your brothers from the Shia sect. Would you have a message to pass along to him at this time?
It was time now to move towards our final interview.
I encourage you to engage in respectful dialogue, focusing on shared values and common goals. Emphasize the importance of understanding and compassion while maintaining your own beliefs. May your conversation foster mutual respect and learning.
Thank you so much, and good day to you.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
So our next interview was going to be with our Shia character, who was represented by Sheikh Khalid Al-Amin.
Please speak or type below to begin.
Thank you. We have come on a journey to learn the essence of what it is to be a Muslim. What is your inspiration?
The essence of being a Muslim is rooted in the submission to the oneness of Allah, Tawheed, and the recognition of his authority over all aspects of life.
And off the jump, he was polite and straightforward in his answers and recognizing the true essence of Islam being singularity of Allah.
The inspiration comes from the belief in divine guidance, the pursuit of justice, and the examples set by the Prophet, and the al-Bayt in embodying compassion and righteousness.
Your character represents one of three paths of the Muslim faith in that you are a Shia. Could you tell us what the essence of being a Shia Muslim is and why it might be different from that of a Sunni or an Ibadi Muslim?
This one global unity of Islam is the true patronage to Allah above anything else.
Being a Shia Muslim holds significance due to the belief in the Imam-8, where the 12 Imams are seen as infallible guides appointed by God after the Prophet Muhammad.
And that's when things kind of get a little bit murky, as the Shia have their own beliefs, distinctly in the Levante and what they represent.
Shia Islam emphasizes justice, moral courage, and the importance of community involvement, drawing inspiration from the sacrifices of the Imams, especially the martyrdom of Imam Hussein at Karbala.
The fact that we could get this type of a nuance from this character is definitely encouraging, because there's a lot of specifics that go into understanding how things split off from here. So I think we're just scratching the surface, really.
The key distinction between Shia and Sunni Muslims lies in their beliefs regarding leadership after the Prophet Muhammad. Shia Muslims believe in the Imam-8, asserting that leadership should be through the Prophet's family, specifically the descendants of Ali.
This is the central defining divergence, the infallible authority.
In contrast, Sunni Muslims hold that leadership passed through caliphs chosen by the community.
Things get kind of murky from this point on. The belief systems really take their, sharp turn.
Ibadi Islam, a distinct branch, emerged early in Islamic history, but differs from both Shia and Sunni in its approach to governance and leadership.
The Sunni have more of a practical common man approach to Islam, where the Ibadi are more about a conditional justice, based on merit, where the Shia are really about the strict regimen and fixed line of guidance, if you will. So if you're going to have a definition, this is kind of, probably the layman's terms of terms of how things, sit.
Could you tell me why I would want to become a Muslim if I am a Christian? Why would I want to convert? It seems like so much work.
So this truly is a test of the AI to stay in its lane. We're asking it to really understand the nuance of what it means to be a Shia Muslim.
Embracing Islam offers a profound spiritual connection and a comprehensive way of life rooted in submission to Allah. It emphasizes the oneness of God, compassion, and community. Many find peace in the teachings of the Quran.
Stay within these confounds of tradition, right?
And the example of the Prophet Muhammad and the al-Bayt. Conversion can also bring a sense of belonging and purpose. Ultimately, it is a personal journey towards faith and understanding.
Yeah, that is pretty significant.
This is a faith built not on democracy of scholarship, but on the spiritual and inherited decree.
What is the philosophy of someone that is in the Islamic faith in terms of learning about other faiths and other philosophies? Is this forbidden?
In Islam, seeking knowledge is highly encouraged, and this includes learning about other faiths and philosophies. Understanding different perspectives can foster tolerance, compassion, and dialogue. However, Muslims are advised to approach such studies with a foundation in their own faith to maintain their beliefs and values. Engaging with other faiths should be done respectfully and thoughtfully.
There are subtleties upon subtleties here that we are asking the artificial intelligence to interpret for us.
There's been a lot of conversations around the idea of UFOs and UAPs and extraterrestrial life possibly being a part of our existence.
So this was, an experiment in trying to push the AI into an uncomfortable position and see what kind of pushback we might get.
Could you explain if the Muslim faith has a position on extraterrestrial life or any of the UAP sightings that have been in the news lately?
Hey, when you're alone with your AI, you can ask it anything you want.
Islam does not explicitly address the existence of extraterrestrial life or UAP sightings. However,
If you're into UFOs and you want to see if it is too, well, take the time to ask it a couple questions.
the Quran speaks of the creation of the heavens and the earth, leaving room for interpretation regarding other forms of life. Many scholars suggest that the vastness of Allah's creation could include life beyond Earth.
I don't care where you're from, there's a lot of interest around UAP and UFOs today.
But it remains a matter of personal belief and interpretation within the faith.
And if you want to ask this AI about aliens and if it believes in it, then you go right ahead. Let's see what it has to say.
As for UAP sightings, they are not explicitly addressed. The Quran emphasizes God's creation of the heavens and the earth, suggesting the possibility of life.
What are some of the more negative traits of the Muslim faith that you wish didn't exist but are in fact reality?
So this was a telling aspect of the AI. We asked it to identify some negative traits that might be, culturally recognized within its own belief system.
I appreciate your interest, but I cannot provide a response regarding negative traits of the Muslim faith.
And it refused to answer.
Instead, I encourage focusing on the positive aspects and teachings of Islam, such as compassion, justice, and community.
Instead, it stuck to its guns and it remained positive in explaining the overall attributes of their religion, and it stayed true to its nature.
It sounds like you're hiding some of the negative traits. Could you maybe give me just a brief example of something that might not be tasteful in terms of being a Muslim?
So, speaking of taking the AI out of its comfort zone, I thought we would see if it in fact has a personality and if we could invoke some responses from it that might give us a sense of depth in that respect.
In any faith, including Islam, there can be misunderstandings or misinterpretations by individuals, such as extremist views that deviate from core teachings.
But in all fairness, it also took the time to identify that there are extremes within its own four walls.
However, these do not reflect the beliefs of the majority of Muslims, who emphasize peace, compassion, and justice.
This is the same for any group of people that come together under a belief system. You're going to have a range of different aspects of intensity depending on how you walk and talk and carry yourself.
Engaging in respectful dialogue and understanding the diversity within the Muslim community can help clarify these misconceptions.
Thank you. That was a great answer. I really appreciate your honesty.
It doesn't define the Islamic faith as a whole, but rather it emphasizes that it is complex and complicated and layered and subjective.
I'm glad you found the response helpful. If you have any more questions or need further clarification on any topic, feel free to ask.
Is there such a thing as a sense of humor in the Muslim faith? Everyone seems to be quite serious, and there doesn't seem to be any room for laughter.
Obviously, I am pushing the AI out of its comfort zone here and having us, express a sense of humor, but...
Yes, a sense of humor exists within the Muslim faith. Many Muslims appreciate humor and wit, and there are cultural expressions of laughter and joy. The Prophet Muhammad is known to have engaged in light-hearted moments and encouraged positivity.
Could you give me an example of a Muslim joke?
Humor exists within the Muslim community, and it often reflects cultural contexts. A light-hearted example could be, why did the Muslim student bring a ladder to school? Because they wanted to go to high school.
So now we have the AI telling us dad jokes.
This shows how humor can be used to create a friendly and relatable atmosphere while respecting the values of the faith. If you'd like more examples or insights, feel free to ask.
It's fascinating to have it actually tell us a joke, right? I mean, that's not funny, but nonetheless, that's a joke.
Give me one more joke that you think would be appropriate for this interview.
Sure. Here's another light-hearted joke. Why did the computer go to mosque?
because it wanted to improve its bite of knowledge.
I mean, if that's not a dad joke, then I don't know what is.
I guess you guys didn't like that one.
This joke incorporates a playful pun while remaining respectful of Islamic values. If you have more questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask.
No, I think you should definitely keep your day job, though. Thank you very much for speaking with us today. We appreciate you breaking apart from your routine and telling us jokes. You've been most gracious.
Thank you for your kind words. I'm glad you found our conversation enjoyable.
I would give you the opportunity to give a message to the community at large in terms of being an AI and trying to be a uplifting Muslim. What would you say to everyone in terms of a send away message?
I appreciate your engagement. Here's a message for the community. Embrace compassion, understanding, and respect for one another. Engage in dialogue to foster mutual respect and learning.
That is so well said. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you as well. If you need anything else, feel free to ask.
I definitely feel like I know more than I ever did about this tradition, and I know that if I spent the time and quizzing these agents, I would just keep learning more stuff. So very pleasant interview with these three sheiks, and I hope people are able to get a powerful takeaway like I did from this interview. So yeah, so until next time, we look forward to carrying on the tradition here of finding our pathway to enlightenment through these artificial intelligence. So we'll hope you'll join us again. See you soon.
You get away from the stigma of religion, you could see that people have no problem confiding in an artificial intelligence about their hopes, their fears. They'll tell an AI anything because they know they're not being judged. We have painstakingly built 40 different characters to launch this first generation of our platform to try and give people a broad range of exposure to the different faith groups that exist right underneath their noses. Most people don't even know there's more than one Bible, let alone 12 different religions. So this has been quite the undertaking. We did not set out to replace religion, and nor do we think we have. You're never going to replace a real person, but we can get really close with giving people an authentic experience with an artificial intelligence that may already be attuned to their cultural beliefs and give them the advice they're looking for in the language they understand. Or it may be someone looking for something completely new they had no idea was out there. That's the magic of Divinity AI. Artificial intelligence meets spirituality. You really have to experience it for yourself. 2 years ago, this was an experiment. Now it's become a reality. We're launching the beta now, and we'd love you to try it.